every time we walk around the corner, it's just another like breathtaking view. It's just crazy.
Brag about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
And just the smell of the earth and like the colors in the sky. What I can see is just the sound of the wind and the water and just everything. This is incredible. Jesus.
So, being in Toronto, meeting a lot of new people, talking to them a lot about 3 points of contact, and a lot of people are really interested in one particular thing. They've been asking me questions about it, and it's basically how you appreciate like beauty. Like, I know we've been to a lot of really cool places where there's some pretty awesome views.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know you appreciate when we're up there. I know you're appreciating it because you talk about it. You say this is gorgeous and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, how do you go about that? Like, what is your?
It's a good question. Honestly, so first thing that jumps to mind is our when we were in Morocco, in Axor. Actually talking to our buddy Michael, who remember he had that binaural audio. He was recording the sound of the area, and that was the first time I'd ever really been cognizant of like the beauty of the sound. It's just something that I'm always taking in to understand my surroundings, but not to take in to appreciate my surroundings. And until I met this fellow Michael, where was he from? Germany, right? Yeah.
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 I can't remember where in Germany. But
Yeah. And yeah, no, it gave me pause to actually think of, and it's something that I would do already, without even really noticing it. But it gave me pause to actually sit and think about it, and just the birds and the people talking and the different languages and the water and the scuffing on the rocks and people breathing as it was hard to climb, the breeze, just everything. And you can like, and at different distances, the sound of like a crunch in gravel near you is different from somebody walking 50 feet away, which sounds maybe silly and obvious, but a lot of us don't even notice that we're picking up that sort of thing. And when you hear that crunch of gravel, that is so far removed from like our day to day here. Like in the last 3 weeks, how many times have you stepped in gravel? Like that isn't on a construction zone or something.
It's only in the construction zone,
yeah. And so when you hear that, it just brings you back to maybe when you were hiking back in BC or down in the BVI, and then like for me it's in Morocco, and just the heat and but then obviously there is beauty in what you see, and I can stand there and say like this is beautiful, and objectively it's beautiful, and sure I can't see the like necessarily the crests of the mountains and the individual trees, but for me it looks kind of like an impressionist painting, or maybe like yeah, it's like a watercolor. So everything is blurred, but I still get the colors, and maybe my colors are a little shifted from what they used to be. But I remember walking back specifically from the shitty waterfall, and we're on the way back. Like morale was down because reasons, but then we kind of came out into this clearing, and there was a farm on the left. We're on the gravel road, and I remember the gray beige of the gravel, and like the divots and everything, and then the lush green of all the grass, and just kind of watching it move in the wind. It doesn't like it's all the same green, all this grass, but then as the light hits it differently, as the wind moves, you can see it, and it moves like water, and as the wind pushes kind of across the top of it, and the sun was starting to dip, and it was still a blue sky, very gorgeous blue sky, but the the mountains kind of in the valley that we were in were hitting this kind of like purpley gray on the sides, and I kind of remember that, and you know, the where the sun was hitting the mountains was going from this vibrant like white almost of the rocks to the yellow to gold, and then just all that, it kind of all blended together. So even though I can't see the definition of something, it is very clear to me that something is objectively beautiful.
You see the contrast in things rather than
kind of, yeah. It's more of the, it's like, yeah, the contrast between the sky and the mountains and the water and the grass and everything. There is such a sharp contrast between all of these things, and then the variations therein of each segment. Like, one of my favorite things to do is go out on a beautiful blue day and just look straight up. Hopefully not at the sun, but you know, when you look up and it's so blue it's almost black, like that deep indigo blue, and then it goes to the lighter blue, and then just your bog standard sky blue. And I like watching that, because when you look straight up and you see just like the kind of dark blue in the middle of a bright day, you know, it sounds weird, but you know what I mean. That kind of in of itself kind of makes you feel very small, because you know what's beyond the blue is black. It's nothing, which is super cool. But yeah, no. And then even here, walking down the street, like today was, like I mentioned when we went outside earlier, like it's a gray kind of dreary day by all accounts, but it's beautiful because the light is perfect. It makes the greens pop. It makes the browns look that much more vibrant brown, which like vibrant brown sounds awful. You know, it's like my parents' dogs make vibrant brown, and the yeah, no, it was just beautiful. And that's, like I mentioned, that's definitely part of why I fell in love with Ireland. Just that color palette. Maybe it's something that I can see just a lot easier. I can differentiate greens a lot better, but especially on a day like today, kind of gray and it's perfect. And I can, it seems like I can see further, and because there is less glare, there's way less, there's less going on, you know, and it could be even the bit of humidity in the air, it could be just the ambient temperature, who knows. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I don't have all the answers, but it's even on some kind of back street here in Toronto, it's still beautiful in its own way. And then you smell things as I grab the wine, but yeah, even the smell of things is super evocative, and there's a beauty in that. Unless you're in like a train station in Paris or something, then it just smells like piss all the time.
Which in itself can be not necessarily that you want to smell piss all the time.
No, but it's evocative.
Yeah.
It's like,
I remember those times walking down like the streets in Lyon. There were some awful smells. There's some
awful.
But then they'd be like, they'd blend into the smell of the bakery next door, and it's just like this strange. Every time you smell piss and bread, it reminds me of France. Oh, that's.
Bienvenue à France. Piss et pain. You know? Yeah. But no, you're not wrong. I mean, even like certain smells from I love the smell of tarmac and jet fuel, and you know, the clean but somehow still stale air of an airplane. Just that, and it's not that I love those smells, but I love what it represents. Like, you're on a plane, you're going somewhere cool. I love Chrysler. When we went to that bar for that meeting, we first thing I smelled, or first thing I commented on, I think, was, I love this smell. and it just reminded me of university and also like pubs in Scotland and Ireland, and where I've had a lot of good times. But it's that smell of kind of damp and never dry wood and carpet, just sort of a bit of rot to the wood, and the beer has soaked into the bar tops.
Yep.
You know, you get a bit of the tinny smell of the bar rail, you know, as it goes off a little bit, and also the bleach. Like bleach, don't go smelling bleach.
Yeah,
But
it leaves its mark though.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And like for me, there were people I've known in my past who like came home stinking like bleach, and even that's like just kind of a nice memory, oddly enough. But yeah, no, and I mean, sure, I associate a little bit with bars and bevs and that sort of thing, but there's its own beauty in there as well. As well. Yeah. And you know, can appreciate if a girl walks by, I'll be like, oh, her shampoo smelled nice, and not in like a creepy way or anything, but it's not like I can be like, oh, well, that was L'Oreal, this, that, the other. Like I can objectively say that person smelled nice.
And I suppose if you're not able to like check them out visually, necessarily, if they're walking by and
yeah, you make your judgments based on, you know, smell and sound and all that. It's yeah, no, it's good.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good question, man.
A lot of people have been asking it, so
now we've got an answer.
there we go.
Oh, cheers to you. To the beauty of the world unseen.
There you go.